Welcome to Summit Point, West Virginia, a circuit which hosted its first race 50 years ago. After a high-speed contest at Monza last week, how will our drivers fare today at this highly contrasting venue? Welcome to Grand Prix Legends, live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Peter Mackay, and I'm privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director Sean Ambrose, using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Now, Summit Point has quite an interesting history, and here is our Global Sim Racing track guide to tell you a little bit more about it.
Welcome to Summit Point Raceway. Once the stomping grounds of IMSA and Trans Am vehicles thundering through the West Virginia mountains, this circuit is now mainly used for club racing and performance driver training. Situationed a couple hours west of Washington, D.C., there are actually two entirely separate circuits that can be tackled here on the iRacing service. The main circuit is just shy of 2 miles in length, including 10 turns, and can be chopped off into the short version, which has 9 turns and only 1.5 miles for a lap. The Jefferson Circuit is its own 1.1 mile piece of pavement with a mere 7 turns and uniquely can be run in reverse. Both tracks are astonishingly narrow and provide quite a technical challenge. On the main course, the most popular place to pass is down into the first corner hairpin. While some drivers may try a brave dive into turn 5, the frighteningly fast-kinked entry makes it prone to things going wrong quickly. Between there and turn 9, it's essentially a single-file affair with nothing but tight and twisty bends snaking their way around. The Jefferson Circuit isn't used as often, and because there are a few straights long enough to get a run on someone, most drivers are forced to wait for a mistake to pounce on. Otherwise, qualifying will be key. Believe it or not, IMSA's GT class raced here in the late 80s, and even Can-Am stopped in back in 86. While it probably sees much more competition here in the virtual world, it's easy to see why plenty of real drivers love to take their vehicles out to try and tackle this historic Appalachian venue.
So there you go then, a little bit more about this interesting venue here at Summit Point. Now, Ryan, it's a pleasure to have you back in the commentary box here for the Grand Prix Legends series once again, off the back of, I'm sure, some overindulgence yesterday for Christmas, but we're back in the booth now. Tell us a little bit more about Summit Point and what the drivers are going to face today.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. Good to be back alongside you, and hope you had a good Christmas, just like everyone else that's watching. And today we'll be racing at Summit Point, and this track was first opened 50 years ago, like you mentioned, and it's not really hosted any famous series or big series. Basically, it's more known for hosting club events or club series like the SCCA or some track days, and just normally that sort of stuff. But today it will be hosted to round 2 of the Grand Prix Legends series, and this track is 1.8 or 1.98 miles in length rather, or 3.187 kilometers if you prefer to use that. And this track is, I think it's going to be an absolute fantastic race in this track with the tight nature of it, and the 39 cars by the looks of it is going to be rather interesting. And passing places are, you can't really pass around here apart from that run down the home straight down to turn 1 or the last corner, if you even dare. So not really many passing places, and patience is going to be the name of the game.
It certainly will, and let's have a look at how the championship standings look after just one round, an incredible round at Monza 1 week ago. Mick Claridge triumphed in one of the all-time great races. If you've not seen it, go back and have a look. It is superb. Michel Durignon finished second, just 5 points behind. Bill Tyler was third, Roman Pawlowski fourth, and Dave Price in fifth. But 11 rounds to go, a long way to go in the championship. Ryan, how's the F2 championship looking?
Yep, so the F2 championship at the moment it's basically we've only had one round so far this season. But at the moment, it's Will McDonald from the United States currently leading, with Emmanuel Pereira from France 10 points behind. And rounding out the top 3 is André from the United States, with John Van Dorn from the Netherlands in 4th, and Germany's Chris Henler rounding out the top 5. So still one round into the season, and I think this championship will be really, really close.
Certainly will. Let's have a look at the Nations Cup as well, which we have here in the Grand Prix Legends series. At the moment, it's United Kingdom leading by 5 points from France, with United States in third, Germany fourth, and Finland in fifth. And that's going to rumble on all through the championship year. So the drivers are just out on the circuit at the moment, laying down their qualifying times. This is a solo qualifying session, so the drivers have the blissful solitude of the 1.98 miles of Summit Point to set their laps. We have 29 laps around this relatively short circuit today from a standing start, and as always, an open setup so the drivers can set the car exactly to their wish. And well, one thing's for sure, that they will be running a very, very different set compared to Monza last week. Very, very tall gearing, high speed at Monza. This is virtually the complete opposite. Very, very short, twisty, tight. So this is a completely new challenge, and we'll see who adapts to it the best. So just over 5 minutes to go in the qualifying session. As we say, the drivers out laying down their times in their own private sessions. They get 2 flying laps, and at the moment, Michel Durignon leading by 51 thousandths of a second from Ovi Trengerud. So Michel, after finishing second last week, Ryan, he's up for it, clearly.
Yeah, he's not lost any of his form since returning to the series, and at the moment he's showing it in qualifying, currently in pole position. But Ovi Trengerud is only about a tenth or so off him, and Mick Claridge's the same as well. So top 3 real close. Actually, top 4 real close together. Actually, I'll take that back again. It's really close throughout the field, basically.
It is indeed, yeah, absolutely. And not often do we see Mick Claridge sitting off the front row, but that's the way it stands right now. Now, can Michel Durignon improve his time? But Ovi Trengerud does. Ovi Trengerud pinches pole position, but let's get Michel Durignon over the line. Is he going to improve as well? He does, but stays second. So closes the gap, but stays in the same position in second. Colin Bentley, what can he do? He's showing good pace from time to time. A 107.2 for him. He improves just. Let's get Yuri Geisen over in the number 11 machine, the pink and white car. Always easy to spot Yuri out on track. He does not improve his best lap time. Osmar Schultz now flying over the line. This last section, very, very quick actually. The fastest part really of the circuit. You've got to try and flow the speed, use plenty of that room on the exit and get the gas down. What can Osmar Schultz do? A 108.3 for him.
Yep, looking at John Van Dorn coming up to the line now, and it looks like he won't improve his lap time. He stays 24th at the moment.
Let's get Chris Murakami over the line. Does he improve? He does not. Chris Murakami, one of our Formula 2 runners. Marco Ravioli, a very brightly coloured machine. This pink and light blue colours, quite similar to Jamie Fluke's colours there, Ryan.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I thought I recognised the colours from somewhere, and I just, like you say, it was Jamie Fluke that runs them as well. So similar liveries at the moment, as still in the last couple of minutes of qualifying, and still some people out on track, and Osmar Schultz is one of them, but I don't know if he's already completed his qualifying, or both qualifying laps.
He probably, well, we'll see. Let's see if this lap is to count. Currently sitting in 27th place. We've got a very, very busy grid today here at Summit Point. Nearly 40 cars. Now a 107.9. Does that bump Osmar up? It does. 2 spots. You see John Van Dorn coming down. It's actually a very, very heavy braking zone there. You're coming from top gear all the way down to bottom gear, and that very, very tight right-hander. And that's somewhere where we've really got to watch in the opening laps, especially when the car's cold tyres and, more worryingly, cold brakes. Of course, this was long before the invention of anti-lock brakes. This car was built in 1967, 400 horsepower, and weighs about the same as a Caterham 7. So it's a seriously fast race car. But the Girling brakes are basic by today's standards, so they take a heck of a stopping.
Yep, absolutely. It's one of those cars that you can't really brake that hard. Like you can in GT cars, for example, you can't really brake too hard, otherwise it'll just snap on you and you'll spin round. But yeah, at the moment it seems to be most people have completed the qualifying laps by the looks of it.
It would appear so, yeah. So there's about a minute left in the session, but it looks like most of our drivers have set their times. So it looks like Ovi Trengrid is going to be our pole sitter, who will start alongside Michel Dudignon. Let's have a look at the full grid then. Ovi Trengrid then on pole position by just under a tenth of a second from Michel Dudignon. That's going to be a great battle all race long. Row 2, Mick Claridge will start on the second row alongside Nicolino. On the third row will be Rob Olenek and Andrei Schumacher. Row 4 will see Bill Tyler and Thomas Torp. And row 5 will be Topi Cortinemi and Ivan Hernandez. Right.
It started on the 11th as Gary Teal, alongside him as Lars Olsen from the Club Scandinavia. Chris Murakami in 13th with Chris Henler in 14th alongside him. Yuri Giesen starts in 15th with 16th going to John Olsen. Jan Lehman in 17th with Colin Bentley in 18th with Severin Pretorius Salin in 19th, and 20th is Glenn Dolan Old.
On the 11th row will be Rennie Lopez and Dave Cohen. Row 12 sees Kenneth Carlson and Jean Van Dorn. Row 13 will be Osmar Schultz and GSRC's very own Donald Peake. Row 14 will be Eric Leukel and Andres Bruno. And row 15 will be Michael Griesinger and Patrick Byrne.
Yep, starting in 31st is Matthew Maudsley. 32nd is Roland Walbank. Andrew in 33rd. Marco Ravioli in 34th. Gary Anderson in 35th. 36th going to Randy Houth. And the rest of the grid that did not set a time was Eugenio Masso in 37th. 38th Robert Reynolds. And rounding out the grid is Bernardo Cabeza Serra.
I feel you got the short end of the stick there, Ryan, with the difficult names to pronounce. So well done there. I got the easy ones, I think. So as you can see, all of our cars very eager to get going, lining up on the grid, and nearly 40 cars, a fantastic grid, winding its way all the way back to nearly round the back of the final corner. But it's Ovi Trengrid who sits on pole position in the number 6 car. He had a really strong run at Monza last week, but was very unfortunate to get involved in another incident. He was very much the innocent party there from my memory. So what can he do today here at Summit Point? You could not get a more different challenge than Monza last week here at Summit Point, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Summit Point, the tight nature of the track, especially that middle sector where you can't really make a move, I think don't be surprised if you see a bit of a bottleneck effect on lap 1.
Indeed. Well, the lights are up. We're about to go racing, and we are. Round 2 is go in the Grand Prix Legends Series here at Summit Point, West Virginia. Ovi Trengrid's got off to a good start. Michel Dudignon right beside him in the number 1 car. Mick Claridge has a look up the inside. Oh, we've got somebody off. I think that's maybe Lars Olsen. Now it looks like Claridge might be able to just pit Michel Dudignon to second place. Up they go, and he does. Mick Claridge gets the move done, and Olenek spins. Olenek, Olenek puts everything that looked like a spin and managed to hang on to it just, but look how that stretched the field out, Ryan.
Yeah, the top 3 are starting to get away at the front already, and Rob Olenek, amazing. Oh, it's Mick Claridge that tries to take a sneaky look up the inside of Ovi Trengrid, but yeah, Rob Olenek amazingly managed to save that.
Well, that was in any other measure, that was a spin, but he hung on to that beautifully, did Rob Olenek. But it's really just spread the field out slightly as they come down into the final sector. It's quick and fast here at Summit Point, as already our leaders are onto the pit straight right now to complete the first lap. Ovi Trengrid in the lead, but Mick Claridge looks in racy mood. We don't see him start from the second row very often. Here he goes up the inside. Is Ovi Trengrid going to protest much? He makes him work for it, but Mick Claridge goes through, and Ryan, he is just so good on those cold tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. Mick Claridge is just basically, he's just basically forgotten about cold tyres, and he's like you say, he's been really racy on lap 1, which I'm quite surprised about. But I guess I guess he has a feeling that he's quicker at the moment and he can pull away and build up a bit of a gap. But as we ride on board with Michel Dunion, just sitting there watching these two guys in front of him, and I wouldn't be surprised if Michel tries to make a move on this lap as well to try and keep in touch with Mick.
Yep, absolutely. I think if Michel wants to go for the race win, he can't really afford to be mired behind Ovi Trengrade, because like you say, I think Mick Claridge has that little bit of the edge on pace right now as they go around the final corner, Paddock Bend, and then wind up the power all the way down towards turn 1. This is a good opportunity to get a little bit of a draft and then try and move on the brakes. You've got quite a long braking zone here, but they all go Noah's Ark style here, all in a nice, neat, orderly queue, a very British orderly queue. So you see Mick Claridge, Ovi Trengrade, Michel Dunion 1, 2 and 3, but Rob Olenek not too far behind, and for Olenek, he'll want these front three to start duking it out with one another so he can catch up.
Yeah, you absolutely will, and as they come round to this tight, twisty section of track that you can't really make a move, as they're riding on board with Rob Olenek, and he's closing up on these guys actually really quickly, and this sector you can't really make a move. It's you've basically just got to stay behind and not do anything silly. But it seems to be that last corner, if you get a great run, you can make a move heading down to turn 1.
Indeed, yeah, and it seems to me that Mick Claridge we know that he's a bit of a master tactician as well as ultra quick on one lap pace. It seems to me that he's just taking his time here just to get settled in, Ryan. Mick doesn't appear to be pulling away from Ovi Trengrade. He has set the fastest lap of the race there, but look, there's Ovi right behind him, and Ovi it's deep on the brakes there was Ovi Trengrade in the 6th car.
Yeah, that seems to be, I've watched Ovi quite a few times in the past, and he seems to do that quite a lot. He seems to leave his braking real late and just try to close back up, and like we saw into turn 1, he managed to close down in Claridge really quickly under braking. Again, they're coming down to this tight, twisty section, and surprisingly, Claridge kind of goes to the inside to defend a little bit. I don't know if that's his line or if he's maybe thinking that Ovi might try and send a lunge down the inside. Right over that curve as well, and watching the cars move around is just so majestic.
Well, we are now, we were on my favourite camera angle there, Cosworth DFV cam. That is my favourite camera, I love it. This amazing engine built by Cosworth, Mike Costin and Keith Duckworth built this brilliant Grand Prix engine that was debuted in the back of this Lotus 49 in 1967. And Graham Hill, his early comment was, "My word, it's got some squirt."
Yep, Ovi Trengrade this time around puts in the fastest lap of the race, so he's not letting Claridge get away that easy. Neither is Michel Dunion letting neither of these two get away as well, but Rob Olenek is just sitting there in the background, just watching these guys, and I think he, at the moment, he's in the box seat, even though he's dropped back slightly.
Yeah, this is going to be a race of intrigue, I get the feeling, Ryan. Who is showing their hand here and who is holding something back? Because Ovi Trengrade, he's right there in the middle holding pace, so is Michel Dunion. Now, Ryan, of course, a lot of drivers in a lot of race series, they have to worry about tyre wear, but in these particular machines, and especially in the length of race that we have, tyre wear is not necessarily an issue, is it?
Not really, but you've still got to divert from that, Peter, but it looks like Trengrade's they start trying to make a move around the outside into turn 1.
Oh wow, that is, well, we know Ovi Trengrade's very good on the brakes. He hangs it around the outside. Mick Claridge tightens it up and just gets a wee wiggle there, but as they head up towards Wagon Bend, Mick Claridge just about hangs it back again. But Ovi Trengrade showing that he is more than happy to have a little bit of a dust up here. And I tell you what though, Ryan, they really have dropped Rob Olenek in 4th.
Yeah, they have, and just up ahead of these guys as well, they've got a lap car, and it looks like it's the 37 car of Robert Reynolds, so hopefully Robert doesn't hold them up too much. He's letting these guys go, and good heads-up driving there.
Yeah, very good indeed there. Not always the case, but from lap cars, but that's really good respect there to allow the leaders through to get on with their race. So, Mick Claridge Mick Claridge up front there. Let's have a look back at P9 though. Hernandez in the 13 car. Well, that's something you don't want to see in your mirror, is Chris Murakami in the number 7 car, that with the red helmet and the red and white design there on his car. It's that's not what you want to see filling your rear view mirrors, because we know Chris doesn't mind. He doesn't mind a lunge or two.
Yeah, he's not afraid to get stuck in and maybe try and make a move. But Hernandez at the moment under pressure from Chris Murakami, but also in front of these guys, it looks like they've got Gary Teal as well, and they're coming up to lap Robert Reynolds, and yeah, they managed to get by as Teal gets a little bit sideways.
Yeah, Gary Teal now got a real big problem with Hernandez and Murakami right behind. But as you mentioned earlier in the show, Ryan, you really are kind of limited to one major overtaking opportunity, and that's down into turn 1 after the long stretch down the pit straight. But around these parts of the circuit, really you just kind of have to stay in touch and make sure that you're as close as possible to get the draft down the front straight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Summit Point's one of those tracks that, like you say, you can't really make any moves, but it's more kind of like just waiting for someone to make a mistake as this battle for P9 comes onto the home straight now, and Gary battle for the lead as well, starting to spice up.
It is indeed, yeah. I just feel Ovi Trengrade is desperate to try and reclaim that position. He's not happy to sit behind Mick Claridge, and are they starting to drop Dudignon ever so slightly? Possibly. But we saw this last week, although a very different track layout, Ryan. We saw this last week where Dudignon was more than happy to kind of sit within the pack, and then all of a sudden he just burst out of nowhere. Dear. Ovi Trengrade just gets a little bit mired ever so slightly with a lap car, and that has allowed Michel Dudignon to get back onto the case of Trengrade and allowed Mick Claridge just a critical couple of car lengths at the moment where you really need to be close.
Yep, absolutely. And I wanted to go back to that point as well about Tower that you brought up. I think with these cars it doesn't really matter, but also what you've got to keep in mind that some of these guys will probably have their setup, the car set up, especially tyre pressures, set up for say cold track track temperatures, and some of these other guys might have them set up for a hot track temperature. So it's a bit like swings and roundabouts, if you like.
Yeah, good point indeed. Yes, at the moment the track temperature is 71 degrees Fahrenheit, which is relatively low as well, but not so low that it's going to cause the drivers a problem. In fact, it's actually quite good conditions for the tyre to work at its best. Excessively high track temperature can make the tyre really struggle to grip. It can make the surface and the adhesion quite greasy in feel as well. So the drivers will be quite happy, I'm sure, with this track temperature today here at Summit Point. So we're riding on board with Michel Dudignon with the bright white helmet here. It'll be harder to keep clean, that's for sure. As we come around the final corner, Paddock Bend, and then hard on the gas, using lots of the entry. And look at that, Ryan. Mick Claridge going right to the inside, going really defensive, knowing that Trengrade's that little bit better on the brakes, and knowing that Trengrade's going to try it around the outside. But Trengrade goes for the cutback, but Mick Claridge is placing his car exactly where he needs to.
Yeah, he's doing a great defensive job at the moment, and further back in the field as well, we've got the battle for P8 going on. For P8 between Gary Teal, Ivan Hernandez and Chris Murakami.
Yeah, brilliant battle going on here right now. Gary Teal in the white car with the green stripe up the middle. The number 9 machine trying his best to keep Hernandez behind. Hernandez running what I think must be patriotic colours, I suppose.
Yeah, quite possible. As in this battle for P8, sorry, it's still been really close, and that's allowed this battle's allowed Thomas Torp up ahead just to pull away and build up a bit of a gap.
Indeed, yeah. This is we see Torp now up into 7th place. So there's some problem for the problem for the 36 car of Carlson. What has happened to the man from Carolina Club? Let's have a look. Oh, there's a car. Oh dear, that's the number 30 machine just parked on the side of the circuit. That caused a little bit of a domino effect there, Ryan. Oh, 38, my apologies.
Yeah, the 38 car, I believe that was a. I'm not sure that was that Robert. No, it was Bernardo Serra. Yeah, that was Bernardo Serra.
Oh, and it just causes a little bit of a chain reaction there. Whoa, and this is a lot of the drivers coming onto the scene and just a little bit unsighted, but they carry on. So now, look what's happened. We've lost Michel. Well, Michel Dudignon's dropped right back. Look at the gap there. So it's now transferred into a two-car fight at the front between Claridge and Trengarade. Now that might allow, interestingly, Trengarade a little bit more comfort for his battle with Claridge, not having to worry about Michel Dudignon behind. So we'll see how that one plays out as we approach half-race distance.
Yep, and yeah, that'll allow Ole Trengarade to just relax and plan what he's going to do. Is again lap Robert Reynolds, who beautifully gets out of the way and good heads-up driving again as Trengarade runs onto the gravel.
So we see Bill Tyler here in the battle for 5th place right now in car number 5. Some nice symmetry there with Andrew Schumacher right behind there in the 24 car. That blue and white machine in, well, colours which mean a lot to us here in double Scotch, Ryan. Now, of course, some Jackie Stewart Matra colours there. Yeah,
I was about to say, it's a very nice livery that the number 5 car's got, and yeah, Mr. Tyler, it's good, yeah, getting kind of groovy with his livery.
Absolutely, we do love a throwback livery, and this is very much a throwback series. Now, a lot of damage there on the front of the 14 car, currently a lap down, so Bill Andrew Schumacher have to get through here, try and get through quickly, and they do. Always nice when you get a bit of respect there from the lap car. And do you know what, Ryan, that's something that you see particularly in this series, where lap traffic, you never really see too much of an issue with lap traffic. Usually they'll make plenty of room for the faster cars coming through.
Yeah, that's fair about the series as well. As no matter where you look, there's always respectful driving going on, and yeah, so far, especially from the back, it's been good respectful driving and heads-up driving as well, which is good to see in this series.
It is indeed, that's for sure. So Mick Claridge still leads then as we approach half distance, about half a second to the good from the Scandinavian ace Ove Trengarade. But while they're having a little battle, wow, here's an even bigger one for 15th place. It does not get any easier the further down the grid you go. Eric Loikel at the front here in the 17 car. Laus Olsen in the middle, who had a bit of an issue at the start on turn 1. And Yuri Geisen there in that pink and white machine with the light blue helmet. And they come round into the carousel, and the S is a really, really tricky section. And that's a tricky section in an agile modern racing car. One of these things, really difficult to get it turned through there.
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't, unlike a GT car or a modern race car, basically, you don't have that like downforce to help with braking. Like, you kind of got to get your braking done in a straight line, and then as Laus Olsen gets sideways on the home straight. Whoa, nice save.
Wow, yeah, he just had a huge moment there and just pulled across. I think maybe perhaps not wanting to let the people. Let's get a look at that and what happened to Laus Olsen. So coming through the final corner here, Paddock Bends. Does he get it? Just lights it. Yes, just lights it up slightly. Well spotted, Ryan. Slightly on the exit of the corner. We're asking, there's a lot of power, and it's there very quickly. When this engine comes on song, it is pretty aggressive in its power delivery. 400 horsepower, but delivers it kind of all at once. So you've got to be really on the ball, and Laus Olsen was there and managed to recover, did lose a place, but look at this. Yuri Geisen, he's gone from the back of this 3-car pack to the front.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good move by Yuri. He managed to get it done, and he got the run on Eric. And I think Eric just decided that it wasn't worth making a big deal of it heading into that tight twisted section.
Okay, back to the lead we go then, as we've gone past half distance, and still the battle rages on. Ove Trengarade has been all over the gearbox of Mick Claridge, and Ryan, this is a curious race, because Mick Claridge went past Ove Trengarade in the early stages like he had an advantage of about half a second, but it's not transpired like that at all. Perhaps just Mick a little bit more comfortable on cold tyres, and now that everything's up to temperature and the fuel load's starting to come down, Trengarade now starting to come on song.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, Owen Trenger's got the run heading down the home straight, but I think you could be right. It could be this the track temperatures, this certain Owen Trenger at the moment, and Mick Claridge is maybe just struggling a little bit with track temperature as well. So it's it's interesting. I think Owen Trenger is having a good race at the moment, and Mick Claridge did say to me this morning that Owen Trenger could be the one to watch and give him a run for his money.
Well, he certainly is. He's certainly qualifying that statement, that's for sure. But Mick Claridge is showing some real guile and cunning here, just keeping Ove Trengrade behind, placing his number 2 car exactly where it needs to be. But we've got a spinner in front. This could cause an issue. Oh, stay where you are, stay where you are, stay where you are. Oh, always good. Good heads up there. I'm not sure which car that is recovering, but nevertheless, kept an eye out there for the cars coming through. So the lead battle continues, but that was a close one.
Yeah, I think if I was Mick Claridge, especially, I think I would be really nervous and really nervous and hoping that the back marker will come back on track in front. But we're looking back at this battle with Laust Olsen and it looks like Laust Olsen and Andreas Bruno, I think. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, and we've got a bit of a car park here at... and Laust Olsen spun, and they all just streamed through. That's so frustrating. You're sitting there. Let's get a replay of what happened there then with Olsen. Here we go. So, coming into... it's just a... Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yuri Geisen... I don't think Yuri Geisen got through clean either. He's lost his nose cone. Oh dear. There's nothing worse when you just... that's a blind crest, and it's very fast there, Ryan, and you're braking a long distance too, and there's a car broadside across the track. Not really a great deal any of those guys could have done.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those sections of track that you're going so quick you just don't have any time to react, and unfortunately, some of those guys just got caught up with each other as the battle back up to the front for the lead is starting to get close again, as you've got a couple of back markers that they're having to negotiate as they head down to turn 1.
Here's a chance for Ove Trengrade then. Lap traffic always presents an opportunity as well, presents risk as well, but Mick Claridge again showing his experience, showing his cunning to stay ahead here in really tricky circumstances. Quite a short lap here at Summit Point, less than 70 seconds, and look at Trengrade. He's thinking to try some new moves, but Claridge sees it coming, just covers it off, and that's a really tricky braking zone. Trengrade goes for a late apex and gasses it up, but they're going to come across more lap traffic as time goes on. Certainly in the last 10 laps it's going to be more of an issue than it was earlier on. So nearly 40 cars on a 70-second lap. That is a recipe for a busy race, Ryan.
Yep, absolutely, and it's pretty much been busy for most of the races, for most of this race so far with the back marker. There's a back marker slowing up a little bit on the exit of the final corner, and that's giving Ove Trengrade the momentum to try and get a run, but Mick Claridge tries to use that back marker to break the slipstream.
I think Trengrade maybe has enough of a run here. He's managed to just get the nose ahead. Claridge goes very late in the brakes. He locks up, and Trengrade did very, very well not to touch a wheel on the grass, because if he had, he was out of that battle, but hung on by the skin of his teeth and actually had to just give Mick Claridge a little bit of room there, because Claridge just pinched the tyre, just pinched the brakes on the way in. It's very easy to do. These cars, of course, do not have anti-lock braking system, far from it, and it's very, very easy. If you just press that pedal down that little smidge too much, you will see a big puff of smoke. You'll turn you'll turn the wheel into a bit of a 50 pence piece.
Yep, absolutely. As coming through to the end of this trusty section now, and Owen Trengrade, it seems to be seems to get a great run in the exit of the final corner, and he closes up and Claridge under braking, and they've got a couple of back markers in front of them.
Claridge he's brave, isn't he? Wow, straight through the middle there. And Trengrade this must be getting frustrating for Trengrade, because he's trying everything, but Claridge has got the answer for whatever Trengrade throws at him. He's just got the answer to it, but can he keep this up? Can Mick Claridge defend for another 10 laps? It's going to be tough.
Never say never. Mick Claridge is pretty much a maestro in this car, and yeah, he'll know what to do when it comes to defending. And he doesn't go defensive this to the inside this time around. Trengrid was too far back, but yeah, fantastic race between these two.
Has been good. Let's go back to Hernandez, who is now in 7th position, but has got the attention of the number 4 car of Torp, and they've got lap traffic to contend with there. Can they get it through safely? Oh, not quite. A little bit of a budge there from Torp, but they get through just about. But a little bit of contact, I'm not going to say required, but a little bit of contact happened as they came through, but very, very close. Now, look at this. Here comes Trengrid. He's going to try this round the outside again. Can he get on the gas? No. Oh, you can just see it there. Ovi Trengrid just opens up the gas that little bit early, and the car just shakes its tail and says, no way. And Mick Claridge is really playing a very, very clever game here, just knowing exactly where Ovi Trengrid's opportunity is and just covering it off every time.
Yep, and honestly, I think the only place that Trengrid can get by is into turn 1, but every time they come down that home straight, Claridge just goes defensive real early to cover the inside. And I think the only chance that Trengrid's got of getting by is trying to hold it on the outside, but that outside line with the bumpy nature is just so difficult.
It is indeed, and I think also Mick Claridge appears to be getting a very strong run out the final corner at Paddock Bend, but now he might not though. Look at that, it's got a car just going off, I think maybe just letting these guys by, but Claridge has got enough of a gap here that he can take the racing line now on the brakes. Trengrid's far too far back to have a look. He's looking, you see the shaking and wiggling on the brakes, desperately trying to hold it down. He definitely has a little bit better braking performance in there, Ryan, but of course, you need the line to be able to make it to make the move stick.
Yeah, you do, and it just shows that Ovi Trengrid is pushing so much when just the way he was braking there, and as they're heading down to the doors, they've got a back marker in front of them. It looks like Robert Reynolds again.
Yeah, oh, big lock up there for Claridge, and that is just giving Trengrid that little bit of the giddy up. Now, will this lose Claridge the rhythm into the critical part of the circuit where you need to be able to build the speed up and build that momentum through Paddock Bend and down the front straight? And that tiny little lock up just took Mick Claridge's attention away, but it appears that in the faster corners, Claridge has just got that little bit of an edge, and he goes to his defensive line again, then back to the racing line. Trengrid might be close enough, he might be able to have a look here. Does he have a try? No, but he's making Claridge go right to the limit of where he's comfortable.
He is, and on the other hand as well, Ovi Trengrid is running out of time, so he's got to try and make a move as soon as possible, but some point, I keep mentioning it, it's a tight-natured track, and there's not really that many passing places.
No, there isn't, and you can't necessarily have got a bit of problem. Oh, Torp's just had a problem, but our leader's just coming across some lap traffic. Let's get a quick replay of the incident for the number 4 of Torp. He was behind Hernandez, and whoop, there you go, just asks for the power. And when the engine lights up, when that Cosworth DFV goes, okay, full giddy up, it is aggressive. So, problem for Torp there. So, Mick Claridge, well, he is just resisting under the hottest of pressure here. Really, really, really high pressure scenes. Having to come through a lot of lap traffic with a really quick Ovi Trengrid right behind him now as they come down into turn 1. This is very, very close. Claridge will have to... Oh, little bit of a tweak on the brakes there as he gets the car turning. Wow, and that has allowed Trengrid to get right back onto the gearbox. Now, is there anywhere that a move can be pulled out? Perhaps down into the carousel, maybe, Ryan?
You never know if Trengrid tries to go round outside. He's trying. I think Trengrid is trying to line up a run there into the at this tight twisted section and maybe into the carousel. But oh boy, it's just so difficult. I think his only real possibility or chance of making a move is down that home straight if he can get a great run.
I think it could come down to a member of lap traffic. I suspect. I think that's going to have to be the trick that Ovi Trengrid is going to have to play at some point, but Mick Claridge is so smart through the traffic. But here comes a huge amount of traffic up there. God, it's like Socky Hall Street up there ahead, and they're about to come into the twisty section now as well. So this is going to be an opportunity here for Ovi Trengere to try and pick Mick Claridge's pocket. Just 5 laps to go, so not long, just over 5 minutes, maybe just about 6 minutes to go in this motor race, and Claridge has got Ovi Trengere all over the back of his gearbox.
Yep, and I've fair play to Mick. He's doing a great defensive job, but interestingly, look up ahead, we've got a pack of back markers.
We do indeed. Yeah, for those who reference, Socky Hall Street is a major shopping street in Glasgow, which is usually quite busy with cars, for those who have never heard of it, as we go through. Now, look at this, is where we're going to get a little bit of an issue. Laust Olsen up ahead there, who is running a little bit further down the order now. Well, he's an experienced driver as well. He will probably give the room required, but will this just kill Mick Claridge's run through Paddock Bend? Laust Olsen just takes a little grab on the inside there. Trengere right on the gearbox. Down they go, down the pit straight, down towards turn 1. Claridge goes for his defensive line, then goes back to the racing line. Can Trengere have a look? It's going to get very, very busy. Both lanes are blocked. Is there going to be a path through? I don't think there is right now. This is a chance for Trengere. Can he make the move as they head up towards Wagon Bend? Oh, that would be... Oh, God, Trengere is trying everything here, Ryan.
Yeah, he's trying to intimidate Mick as well when he's trying to make a move at the same time, and trying to unsettle him mentally, or not mentally, but you know what I mean. Just basically trying to unsettle him, and they've got another back marker to get by, and they managed to get by him before they head through the twisted section yet again.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from the leaders here to try and get their way through this avalanche of traffic. Going to be 3 to go when we go over the line, and Mick Claridge, well, this would be the second race win in a row if he's able to keep Ovi Trengere behind, but it's been a very different contest compared to what we saw in a big bunch, a big pack at Monza last week. But Claridge goes to the defensive line as well. Ovi Trengere's got a great run. Can he get the lunge on the brakes? He's going to have to be really, really brave on the brakes, hard. Can he make that outside line? He spins! Oh, he just locks up, and that'll be it. Oh, Ovi Trengere tried everything he could, and he just, exactly what you were talking about earlier, Ryan, just locked up on the brakes.
Yeah, just about to look at the replay now, and Trengere tries to go around the outside, and I think he just braked on the... Yeah, he just braked on that bump and tried to go around the outside and does lost the rear, and that was so unfortunate.
Oh, well, you know what? Better to do that than just follow it home. Always go for the win if you can. And real racer spirit there from Ovi Trengere. It's been an amazing drive, and just one slight mistake. But you know what? He had to try it, Ryan. He had to have a go. And Mick Claridge just had the answer for every single thing he tried. But that was a lengthy playbook, and he played every single page.
Yep, he played that defensive game really well and done everything that he needed to do. And Mick Claridge just proving yet again why he's a master in this car.
Indeed, yeah, he is the Grand Prix legend of today, and holds a comfortable advantage of just over 3 seconds from Michel Durignon. It will get the white flag next time around, and this has been a pure champion's drive from Mick Claridge. Sometimes we see him clear off into the distance like we did at the Nürburgring last season, where it was just in another planet compared to the rest. But today, very much a head-to-head duel with Ovi Trengere, where got past very, very early, thought he might have cleared away, but he hasn't. But the defensive driving, very, very impressive indeed, which will solidify the championship lead. But still, battles going on up and down the field. We've got Laust Olsen, got Bruno Eng and Leukel here, all battling for midfield positions, and it does not get any calmer the further down you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever you look, there's always a battle going on in this pack, in this series. Like at the moment, we've got this battle for P15 going on at the moment, and Laust Olsen actually broken away from it. So it's it looks like Leukel's making a move on Eng.
Yep, here he goes up the inside. A big puff of smoke ahead. I think maybe somebody spun. Oh, is there going to be problems? No, they all get through. They all get through clean. But we're on to the final lap. Then our leaders have taken the white flag. Mick Claridge then, on his final lap, through the chute down towards the carousel, hard on the brakes, and it has been another first-class drive from the British ace, Mick Claridge. He did tell us in his interview last week that he might not be able to run all the rounds in this season, but with 2 wins to start the season, he might not have to. He's the runaway championship leader as it stands. Round the final bend then, he comes. Mick Claridge is maintaining his 100% win record here in the Grand Prix Legends Series. Mick Claridge is your winner here at Summit Point, with Michel Dudignon not far behind in second spot, with Rob Olenek rounding out the podium.
Yep, Ove Trengry coming across the line now to finish in fourth, but what could it be? It was a race of what could have been for him, and Andre Schumacher's going to come across the line to finish in fifth place as well, so a great result for him.
Indeed, yep, Andre Schumacher in the Matra Tyrrell liveried machine. Gary Thiel, a little bit of nose damage for him as well. But wow, that was a brilliant race there, Ryan. An excellent battle between Trengrid and Claridge, and Trengrid, you can't fault him for throwing everything at it.
Yep, absolutely. It's one of those races. If you don't have a chance of winning, you've got to try and basically throw everything at it and try anything you can to try and make a move. But Mick Claridge just held it off and played the defensive game brilliantly, and took a well-deserved win.
Indeed. Well, we're going to take a very short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back with official results and driver interviews. Welcome back to Summit Point, West Virginia, where we have been treated to a superb battle between Ove Trengrid and Mick Claridge. But it was the Briton Mick Claridge in the number 2 car, just came out on top, with Ove Trengrid throwing everything at it and just making the slightest mistake at turn 1. So Claridge the winner then, with Michel Dudignon. Another solid drive from the Frenchman, finished second, with Rob Olenek rounding out the podium in third. Ove Trengrid was fourth, with Andrew Schumacher fifth, Gary Thiel sixth, Ivan Hernandez, good drive from him, for seventh, with Chris Murakami, Thomas Torp and Chris Hengler rounding out the top 10.
Finishing in 11th was Finland's Jan Lehmann, with 12th going to Rennie Lopez. Jor Olsen finished in 13th, with Dave Cohen in 14th, Laust Olsen in 15th, with Andreas Bruno in 16th, Eric Loiko in 17th, with 18th going to Andrew Eng. 19th was Randy Huff, and rounding out the 20 was Patrick Byrne.
In 21st position was Matthew Maudsley, followed by John Van Dorn, Eugenio Massa, Marco Ravioli, Gary Anderson, Severin Pretorius Saling, Bernardo Cabezas Serra, Colin Bentley, Mick Lino, and Robert Reynolds round out the top 30.
Yep, finished 31st, or basically, rest of the pack. It was either a few laps down or retired from the race. Was 31st going to Osmar Schultz with Roland Wallbank in 32nd. 33rd was Donald Peake, and the rest of the packet retired from the race was Michael Grangenzinger, Glenn Dolan Old, 36th Yuri Geeson, Bill Tyler in 37th, 38th was Kenneth Carlson, and rounding out the retirements was Topi Cortineme.
So there you go then. I mean, here, Ryan, just your final thoughts on our race that we've seen today. I mean, this is such a tight, tricky, technical track, very much a track that was built for the growing interest in sports cars in the late 60s in the United States, but a real challenge for our Lotus 49 guys today.
Yeah, it was, and I think even though it was a challenge for them, they put on a great show. Like we saw up at the front of the battle for the lead, and further in the pack as well, we had some battles as well. But I believe joining us now is the race winner, Mick Claridge.
Yes, indeed. So let's get a chat to Mick Claridge, our race winner. Mick, congratulations on a fantastic drive there, but my word, Ovi made you work for that one.
Do you know what? I was just thinking after the race then, I just thought, this is why I can't play offline games anymore. There's just nothing in offline games for me anymore. This is just so unbelievable and intense, you know. What an unbelievable battle. Shame how it ended, but yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, it seemed, I mean, obviously Summit Point, the overtaking opportunities are relatively limited, if not completely limited to turn one. We saw you go for the defensive line quite a lot there, but Ovi was strong on the brakes. I mean, I guess that was, you had to get that run out of Paddock Bend and then just make sure you park the car on the apex at that point.
Yeah, and I kept messing it up. That's the one corner that I didn't really get right all week, to be honest with you. I kept braking too early, and my fourth gear was right on the limit. Every time I went down to fourth gear get down to third gear to go into the last corner, I thought I was going to blow the engine up. And it was the only way I could do it. So it was just a horrible corner for me, that last corner. But yeah, Uwe has got a real unique braking technique. I think he does it in all of the cars. He actually brakes earlier than a lot of people and not as much. And it doesn't overheat the tyres. I mean, I brake probably later than him, but harder, and overheat the tyres. And he's just so strong on the brakes. He always has been. But he was always going to be fast here. We've had a couple of races, and the last time we raced here, we had a complete war anyway. So yeah, I knew it was going to be. I couldn't believe I got in front anyway at the start, and then I knew it was going to be, spend the rest of the race blocking, basically.
Well, it certainly did a good job of that. Now, it's been 2 wins on a spin, and you couldn't really get 2 more different circuits than the combined Monza and here at Summit Point. Plans for the rest of the season? We know you might not manage all 12 rounds, but nonetheless, a championship charge is very much on.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to do enough races to be able to fight for it. I might miss next week or the week after, but hopefully that will be it, and I should be back and running the rest of the season.
Well, fantastic stuff. Mick, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to shout out to here on the Global Sim Racing channel?
I was hoping you was going to ask me that. Yeah, there's one guy who has done probably more than anyone else for the Lotus 49 community, and that is your director, Sean Ambrose. So thanks to him.
Well, he'll be very happy indeed, Mick. Thank you so much for the kind words.
He's probably crying now.
He's very emotional in the background, yes. Well, thanks so much for coming to chat, Mick, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, cheers, guys. See you next week. Hopefully. See you later.
So that was Mick Claridge, and I believe my colleague Ryan Walker is with Chris Hengler.
Yeah, the German finishing in 10th place after starting in 14th, and Chris, that was a pretty good race for you.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how it went. It's my first top 10 on the broadcast. Hope there'll be more to come. I had a lot of time to practice this week, and I think it really, really paid off.
Yeah, I was watching you during the race as well, and you done really good, and looking ahead to for the rest of the season, rather, is there any aims or expectations you've got?
Yeah, I think last season I ended up with something like 95 points at the end of the season, so I'd like to get into triple figures this time around. I think this today is, a good start to hopefully set me on the right track for that.
With regards to this track or Summit Point, do you think it's a good track for this car? Is it a track you would like to come back to for next season?
Yes, it's actually the first time I've raced here. As I said, I think it really paid off that I had so much time to practice this week. Otherwise, I doubt I'd have been able to get the result on a new track. But yeah, I really enjoyed it here. It's challenging, but really enjoyable to drive. It's a bit hectic in the race with so many cars and quite a short track. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd definitely be happy to see it come back.
Good stuff. And looking ahead to Alton Park next week, is it a track you've raced before? And if so, is it a track you really, really enjoy racing?
Yeah, it'll be the first time that I've raced it in the 39, but it's a track that I know quite well. I always enjoy racing. I think it's quite similar in some ways. Lots of tricky corners, altitude changes. It's always a fun one. So I'm really looking forward to that race.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations on your top 10 finish again, Chris. And before we let you go, anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to?
Nobody too specifically, but I would say the whole 39 community is really, it's really great racing in the series. Everyone's really encouraging, and it helps making progress when you see everyone else encouraging you like that. So yeah, thank you to everyone, really.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for congratulations again on the top 10 result, Chris, and we'll look forward to seeing you on track next week at Alton Park.
Thank you very much. That
was 10th place finisher Chris Endler joining us, and I have to say that race today, Peter, was absolutely fantastic way, and it was an extra Christmas present, if you like.
Indeed, it was a Christmas cracker, you could say. Thoroughly enjoyable, and well done to Mick Claridge for defending every single advance from Ovi Tringray, who gave us just some superb entertainment to kick off a Saturday afternoon here on the Global Sim Racing channel, where we have lots more. We even have Camel GT coming up in a few hours, where, Ryan, I believe you're going to go and have a bit of a spin behind the wheel.
I wouldn't say a spin behind the wheel, probably a spin into the wall, more like.
Well, if you want to see Ryan Walker driving a 700 horsepower Audi 4-wheel drive, you can in Camel GT, coming up at 5 p.m. GMT, 12 p.m. Eastern. A huge thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts, and you can see them listed here on your screen. An additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides all of our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work on Bandcamp. A huge thank you also goes to the other half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker, our producer Sean Ambrose, and the brilliant Dougie Beard, the creator of DFV Cam, patent pending, for today's broadcast. If you'd like to find out more about us here at the Global Sim Racing channel, including upcoming races, you can find information at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check out our social media, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. You can even represent us at the track with some GSRC merchandise, which you can find at gsrc.storenvy.com. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well, so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.